Okay, let's talk about something fascinating. A real puzzle from the world of food. It's this contradiction that I think most of us have felt, even if we haven't quite put it into words. It really gets to the heart of family, tradition, and even fame.
I mean, think about it for a second. When you picture the absolute pinnacle of cooking, the celebrity chefs, the fancy restaurants with 3 Michelin stars, the people pushing the boundaries of what food can even be, that world has for a long time been dominated by men. They're the artists, the masters of this high-status craft.
And yet, when you ask someone about the food that means the most to them, the food that tastes like childhood, the ultimate comfort food, what's the answer you almost always get? My mom's cooking. It's the taste of home. So what's going on here? How can both of these things be true at the same time? Well, this whole paradox kind of disappears once you realize we're not actually talking about one single activity called cooking. Nope, we're talking about three completely different worlds, and each one has its own rules, its own roles, and its own purpose. So let's break this down. To really solve the puzzle, we need to step into three very different kitchens. Once you see them, you'll understand the distinct role each one plays in our lives. First up, you have the home kitchen. And historically, this has been seen as a domestic duty. It's unpaid, it's repetitive, you gotta do it every single day, and it's all tied up in caring for the family. Because of those traditional social structures, this just became the domain of women. It wasn't about skill, really, it was about a social role. Now, let's completely flip that and look at the professional kitchen. The second cooking becomes a paid career with social status, the rules change entirely. Now it's about intense training, apprenticeships, grueling hours, and this huge competitive drive. And historically, those kinds of professional tracks were just way more accessible to men, which is how they established their dominance in the world of high-end restaurants. And finally, we get to the third kitchen, which might just be the most powerful one of all, the emotional kitchen. This one has nothing to do with technique or daily chores. This is all about memory. The food we crave the most is so often tied to the feeling of being loved and cared for, which, for so many of us, takes us right back to the food we ate as kids. So when you lay it all out like this, the solution to the paradox becomes crystal clear. The home kitchen is judged by emotion and habit. The professional kitchen is judged by technique and innovation. And that taste of memory? That's all about the emotional connection. See? They aren't in conflict because they're being measured by completely different yardsticks. There's no contradiction at all. But here's the really interesting part. That traditional model is being totally rewritten. Today, the walls between these three kitchens are just crumbling down, and the roles are changing faster than ever. We're seeing three huge trends all happening at once. First, as our family structures change, more and more men are taking on cooking at home. Second, you have this incredible wave of women who are finally claiming their space at the very top of the professional culinary world. And third, younger generations are looking at cooking completely differently, not as some gendered duty, but as a fundamental life skill that everyone needs. And this isn't just a theory, you can see it happening. Look at trailblazing chefs like Dominique Crand in the United States or Anne-Sophie Pic in France. They, and so many others, are earning the highest honors in the culinary world, proving that excellence in that professional kitchen has absolutely no gender. They are true pioneers. So what does this all mean for the future of food? Well, it means we're creating a completely new recipe for what cooking is, and maybe more importantly, why it matters. This right here is the single most important shift. Cooking is no longer being seen as this responsibility assigned to you based on your gender. Instead, it's being seen as what it truly is, a valuable, empowering skill that anyone can and probably should learn. And this changes the why behind it all. It's no longer just an act of service to feed other people. It's becoming an act of self-care, a way to manage your own health, your creativity, and your well-being. Honestly, being able to cook today is kind of like a superpower. It gives you direct control over your health. It can be an amazing creative outlet. It's a vital social skill that helps you connect with people. And all of that adds up to a higher quality of life. It's a real source of personal power. You see, those old boundaries that used to define who cooks and where they cook and why they cook, they're fading away. Cooking is finally becoming what it should have been all along, a universal language and a shared human skill that's accessible to absolutely everyone.
So as these lines keep blurring, it leaves us with one final thought.
In a world where cooking is no longer a role you're assigned, but a choice and a skill you can develop, what part will it play in your life? What will cooking mean to you?